Harwich Planning Board, Tuesday, March 25th at 2025. According to Mass General Law, Massachusetts law, anyone who intends to record the meeting must first notify the chair, who will then inform the other attendees at the start of the meeting. We're good? Okay. Now that we've opened the meeting, I'd like to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Join. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our first case tonight is PB 2025-01 Davenport Realty Trust. Owner Sam Speakman, LLC. Sam Speakman, manager, authorizes Davenport Realty Trust through its agent, attorney Paul R. Tardif, seeks approval for a two-family dwelling special permit. The proposed project is to construct a two-family dwelling. The application is pursuant to the Code of Harwich, Section 325-51N, and Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, Sections 9 and 11. The property is located at 9 Shelley's Path, Assessors Map 55, Parcel F1-3-0, and the parcel is approximately 1.20 acres. The parcel is in the residential low-density RL zoning district.
Good evening.
Good evening.
For the record, I'm Paul Tardif. I'm an attorney in Yarmouthport, and I represent the petition of the Davenport Realty Trust. And joining us, I think, on Zoom is Christian Davenport, the Vice President of Operations for the Davenport companies. We are the potential purchaser of 9 Shelley Path, which is Lot 3, as shown on the plan. It's shown on here anyway. But this was a subdivision plan, a definitive subdivision plan approved by this board back in 2017. It's in the RL zoning district. The lot contains 52,305 square feet, 157 feet of frontage on Shelley Path. The setbacks in this zoning district are 25 feet in the front, 20 on the side and rear, with a maximum building coverage of 25%. This property is not in a special flood zone or a zone of contribution. The proposal is to construct a two-family dwelling unit each with 2 bedrooms for a total of 4 bedrooms. Units are going to be connected with a common roof. Each will have 1,092 square feet, full basements, unfinished attic spaces. Parking spaces are provided for both units on the site. The project will comply with all setbacks and will have a building coverage of 4.7% and an impervious coverage of 9.4%. This is the same similar project that this board has routinely approved in the past. I think I was here about 6 months or so ago. So under Chapter 325, Section 51, two-family dwellings, a special permit can be granted by this board with the following criteria. The lot needs to contain a minimum of 40,000 square feet of contiguous upland. The floor area of each dwelling must be a minimum of 800 square feet. The common roof or series of roofs shall connect the dwelling units, and there has to be 2 off-street parking spaces per unit. We meet all of those criteria. The plan, we updated the plan, revised the plan with the utilities and the connections, I believe, Christine?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is just a brand new plan. I hope you got it. I think it was a couple of days ago. Sorry for the late submission, but I think the plan is, it basically tells us everything we're going to be doing here. It's not going to be adding to any undue nuisance, hazard, congestion, no substantial harm to the neighborhood, and it's going to be adequate and appropriate facilities for the use. So based on that, we would request that the special permit be issued to allow the relief. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Christine?
Okay, well, I'll just summarize my staff report. Again, the case is PB 202501, two-family dwelling special permit. The applicant is Paul Tardif on behalf of Sam Speakman and Sam Speakman LLC. The property location is 9 Shelley Path, Harwich, Massachusetts, Assessors Map 55, Lot F1-3. The lot area is 52,305 square feet. The project size is 2,184 square feet. Each unit is 1,092 square feet. and the proposal is to construct a two-family dwelling unit with 2 bedrooms each, having a total of 4 bedrooms. The 2 units will be connected by a common roof, and each will have a floor area, again, of 1,092 square feet, and each unit will have a full basement and attic space on the second floor, unfinished attic space on the second floor. The applicable laws and regulations is Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 9, and Harwich zoning sections 321-51 special permit, and Section 325-51N for a two-family dwelling. The project was duly advertised for a public hearing in the Cape Cod Chronicle, and comments from town departments. The only comment that we had was just a minor correction from the zoning compliance officer related to the zoning table and the correct setbacks for the RL district, which I think the applicant has addressed. And there were no other comments or concerns from town departments. And the site does include connection for municipal water services, as well as the utilities and services. And the special permit review is again for under 325-51N for a two-family dwelling unit. And there are specific conditions of approval for a two-family, where the property the lot size is 52,305 square feet, which exceeds the 40,000 square foot minimum. It also has 150 feet of frontage, which is required by local zoning. Each unit will be 1,992 square feet, which exceeds the 800 square foot minimum requirement, and the 2 dwellings will be connected by a series of roofs. We also found that the project will not adversely impact the neighborhood in terms of nuisance or hazards or traffic. And the site is appropriate for this location, and the adequate and appropriate facilities will be provided for the residents, or for the occupants of the project.
Okay.
One question for you, Mr. Chair, to Christine. The note on that the site plan includes the connection for municipal water services, but it doesn't show the connection for utilities. Does that need to be added to a plan? Do we need to add a condition to say that that be added someplace?
They, actually, the applicant did have the appropriate services and utilities connected.
Okay. Okay.
So it doesn't need to be a condition.
Okay.
They have addressed that issue on the site plan.
Any other comments from the board?
Question?
Yeah.
So yes, this is a plan that we're familiar with. Do you know offhand, these are rental units, correct?
Correct.
And how many do you have built in Harwich like this? Do you know?
I'm probably going to have to ask Christian if he knows the exact amount in Harwich. Christian?
I don't have the exact number of rental units in Harwich total. I believe that we've done at least a dozen or so of these very similar duplexes in Harwich.
They're wonderful, and they are market rate, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Yes.
Thank you, that's all.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything from the public?
I have a question. It looks like the 2 units share a septic system, and it's describing it as 2-compartment septic tank. Is that a tight tank? Or is there, I don't see any leach fields or any other
There's
excavation.
the chambers are back here.
Sorry?
Back.
Oh, okay, got it. All right. That answers my question, thanks.
I move that we close the public hearing.
Second.
Is there a second?
Oh,
Are there
I'll
any more
second.
questions?
Yeah.
I'll second.
Okay.
Anyway. Okay, public hearing is closed. I'll entertain,
You have to take a vote.
yep.
Take a vote. We made a motion to close the public hearing,
Oh, yes.
and she seconded.
Oh, okay.
Did we vote?
We take a vote on the public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Now entertain a motion.
So I would move that we adopt the following findings of fact. One, the applicant and trustee, Paul R. Tardif Esquire, Davenport Realty Trust. 2, the subject property is 9 Shelley Path in Harwich, Mass. 02645. Assessors map 55, lot F1-3, is located in the residential low density RL zoning district. 3, the proposed site plan demonstrates compliance with zoning requirements for a 2-family dwelling unit special permit, including the following. Excuse me. A, the lot size of 52,305 square feet meets the 40,000 square foot requirement. B, each unit will be 1,092 square feet, which exceeds the 800 square foot minimum. C, the 2 dwelling units are connected by a common roof or series of roofs. And D, each unit has at least 2 off-street parking spaces. 4, the board further finds that the application satisfies the requirements of section 325-51 for special permits. A, the use as developed will not adversely affect the neighborhood. B, the specific site is an appropriate location for such a use, structure, condition. C, there will be no nuisance or serious hazard to vehicles or pedestrians. And D, adequate and appropriate facilities will be provided for the proper operation of the proposed use. This includes the provision of the appropriate sewage treatment facilities, which provide for denitrification when the permit granting authority deems such facilities necessary for the protection of drinking water, supply wells, ponds, or saltwater embayments.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I would move that we grant the site plan special permit for a 2-family dwelling unit, or 2-family dwelling unit special permit as it's detailed, subject to the following conditions. 1, the proposed 2-family special permit shall be in accordance with the site plan, associated materials referenced in the application above. 2, the planning board decision shall run with the property. Conditions of approval shall be binding on future owners. 3, the special permit shall not take effect until a copy of the decision bearing the certification of the town clerk that 20 days have elapsed after the filing of the decision, and either that no appeal has been filed or that an appeal has been filed within such time period is recorded at the registry of deeds and indexed under the name of the property owner of record and the parcel address. 4, special permit shall lapse within 2 years, which shall not include time required to pursue or await a determination of an appeal referred to in General Law, Chapter 48, Section 9, from a grant thereof, if substantial use thereof has not sooner commenced, except for good cause, or in the case of permit for construction, if construction has not begun by such date except for good cause. 5, changes to the site not authorized under this decision will require further planning board review and modification to this decision. And 6, the applicant shall conform to the inspection, certification, and as-built plan requirements outlined pursuant to the code of the town of Harwich. And I guess finally if the applicant can correct the zoning table as requested by the zoning enforcement officer.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Put it to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. Passes. And
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you, Christine.
Up next, we have case PB 2025-03, Cape Cod Regional Technical High School, CCRTHS, owner through its agent Jose Picardo of Green Seal Environmental LLC, agent for Solect Energy Development Incorporated, seeks approval for a site plan review special permit. The proposed project is to construct 3 canopy-mounted large-scale solar photovoltaic systems over an existing paved bus parking area. The application is pursuant to the Code of Harwich, Sections 325-51 and 325-55, and Mass General Law, Chapter 40, Sections 9 and 11. The property is located at 351 Pleasant Lake Ave, Assessors Map 82, Parcel A1, and the parcel is approximately 67 acres. The parcel is in the residential low-density RL zoning district. Floor is yours.
Good evening. I'm Stuart Clark, not Jose. He had a conflict, he had to take a different meeting. So I'm in here in his stead. This is a pretty simple,
Oh, I'm sorry.
what is your appointment? I mean, it's a pretty simple special permit site plan review. It's an existing parking lot, as you can see on sheet V100. They parked the buses there at an angle. We're planning to, there is a stormwater drainage system in place, and we are planning to, I think Jose, you got it there.
I have some of the plans up on,
Oh, okay.
Yep.
if that's easier.
So the blue squares represent the 3 canopies we want to install. They'll be on drilled piers. There'll be approximately 12, I think, maybe 15 piers. They're sit on like a 3-foot diameter sonotube type thing. Really not a sonotube. It's reinforced concrete. But that'll all get designed after we do, the geotechnical analysis of the soils and do bearing pressures. Everything is within the setbacks of the district. The closest encroachment is over here. It's about 24 feet. The rainwater, we're asking for a waiver of that, and we'd ask the board vote on that. The reason is that when you have a solar panel, it's probably the size of this table. There's about 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch gap on all 4 sides, so the rainwater that hits it just runs off. And I try to explain it, it's like a giant leaf, right? And then it's gonna fall all the way down onto the pavement that's already there and go its merry way, which has already been designed and approved by this board. The system will generate about 1/2 megawatt of power. I have Ken LaCourse online there if you guys have some questions relative to where the power goes or the power purchase agreement or anything like that. But that's my presentation. I think it's pretty straightforward, but I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, Christine?
Thank you. So we've got just a quick PowerPoint presentation. This is the town of Harwich. The site is at 351 Pleasant Lake Ave. You'll see Route 6 to the south and Pleasant Lake Ave continuing to go north. Again, another rendering. The site is surrounded by neighborhoods, by residential uses and open space properties. And this is the Cape Cod Tech Regional High School campus. And if you look to the northeast side of the property, that is where the location of the solar canopies will be placed. And this is another close-up rendering of the site. And included are the existing conditions and as well as the proposed canopies. Again, the applicant is Cape Cod Regional Technical High School to propose 3 large mounted solar photovoltaic systems at the campus. And the applicable laws are Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 9, and Code of Harwich, zoning bylaws, Section 325-51 and 325-55. And the parcel is located in the residential low zoning district. The lot area is 67 acres. And the applicant does request for stormwater and drainage plan. I did review the plan with the town's consulting engineer, and he did concur with my evaluation as well as the applicant's reasoning for the request. Back in, I think, 2017, the board approved the development of the Cape Cod Technical Regional High School with stormwater management and a drainage system. And so those collection systems have already been installed, and they were approved by this board previously. So with that, staff would recommend granting the waiver for the stormwater management and drainage waiver because those plans have already been previously approved and the collection systems have been fully installed. Two items to note, as part of this project, the applicant will be removing existing lighting poles, and they will be replaced. The only condition that I would highlight, that any replaced lighting should be dark sky compliant. And there will be some removal of trees along the perimeter, particularly to the south, to make way for the canopies. With that, that's all I have. Again, the application is fairly straightforward, and it's for a good reason, a good use.
Any questions from the board? Eric?
Is it going to be necessary to demo all that asphalt, or can it be built without completely ripping it all
Good
up?
question. No, we just, the only area we're gonna cut is like a square, then they'll auger it. The spoils will be there, we'll scrape it up and patch around it.
Thank you.
And just, also on the lighting question, there'll be lights underneath the panel, so they will be dark sky compliant.
Right. Any comments from public? Take a vote to close the
Just
oh, you had one?
just a power question. Is it going to power the high school, or is it going to be sold on the grid, or?
We're gonna have to ask Ken online. I think it's going to the school. I think the school owns it, and it's gonna be powering the high school.
It'll power the high school.
Yeah, that's correct. Still, we're actually trying to offset the school's energy consumption.
Great.
So I move that we vote to close the public hearing.
Second.
Put it to the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting's closed. I'll entertain a motion.
So I move that we vote to adopt the following findings of fact. So 1, the applicant is Cape Cod Regional Technical High School. 2, the applicant's agent is Jose Picardo, Green Sail Environmental LLC. 3, the subject property is 351 Pleasant Lake Ave, map 82, parcel A1. 4, the property is located in the residential low-density RL zoning district. Educational use is protected by right under Mass General Law, Chapter 48, Section 3. 5, the applicant seeks a site plan review special permit modification with waiver request for stormwater management and drainage plan. 6, the proposed project is to construct and install 3 canopy-mounted large solar photovoltaic systems over the school's existing paved parking area for school buses. There will be some tree removal along the north and south edges of the parking lot. 7, all lighting poles within the canopied area shall be removed and replaced in conformance with dark sky compliant requirements. 8, the planning board will hold has held a public hearing on Tuesday, March 25th, 2025. 9, in addition, the board finds that A, the use as developed will not adversely affect the neighborhood. B, the specific site is an appropriate location for such use, structure, or condition. C, there will be no nuisance or serious hazard to vehicles or pedestrians. 7, adequate and appropriate facilities will be provided for the proper operation of the proposed use. This includes the provision of the appropriate sewage treatment facilities, which provide for denitrification when the permit granting authority deems such facilities necessary for protection of drinking water, supply wells, ponds, or saltwater embayments.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Put it to the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So I further move that we vote to grant the requested waiver for stormwater management and drainage plan.
We have a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Put it to the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And finally, I move that we vote to approve with conditions case number PB 2025-03, Select Energy Development, CCR THS, 351 Pleasant Lake Ave, for approval of a site plan review special permit, modification and waiver of requirement for stormwater management and drainage plan pursuant to 325-51 and 325-55 of the codes of the town of Harwich, for property located at 351 Pleasant Lake Ave, map 82, parcel A-1, in the R-L zoning district. Further educational use is protected as of right under Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 3. The decision is based on the aforementioned findings of fact and the fact that the application meets the necessary requirements and criteria for approval pursuant to the code of the town of Harwich, and with the following conditions imposed relative to the site plan review special permit. 1, proposed engineered plan sheets, existing conditions plan, and site plan with zoning compliance chart by Stuart D. Clark, civil engineer number 40597, dated 1/8/2025, and town clerk stamp dated February 26, 2025. 2, the proposed project is to construct and install 3 canopy-mounted large solar photovoltaic systems over the school's existing paved parking area designated for school buses. There will be some tree removal along the north and south edges of the parking lot. Sorry, there will be some tree removal along the north and south edges of the parking lot. Overall, the existing landscaping with trees and vegetation shall continue to provide appropriate screening from Oak Street. 3, all lighting poles within the canopied area shall be removed and replaced in conformance with dark sky compliant requirements. 4, the proposed site plan, special permit, and stormwater management and drainage waiver shall be in accordance with the site plan and associated materials referenced in the application above. 5, the decision shall run with the property. Conditions of approval shall be binding on future owners. 6, the special permit shall not take effect until a copy of the decision bearing the certification of the town clerk that 20 days have elapsed after the filing of the decision, and either that no appeal has been filed or that an appeal has been filed within such time period is recorded in the registry of deeds and indexed under the name of the property owner of record and the parcel address. 7, the special permit shall lapse within 2 years, which shall not include the time required to pursue or await the determination of an appeal referred to in General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 17, from a grant thereof, if a substantial use thereof has not sooner commenced, except for good cause, or in the case of a permit for construction, if construction has not begun by such date except for good cause. 8, changes to the site not authorized under this decision will require further planning board review and modification to this decision. And 9, the applicant shall conform to the inspection, certification, and as-built plan requirements outlined pursuant to the code of the town of Harwich. And 10, any provisions of the site plan review special permit cases PB 2018-18 and PB 2023-32 not modified herein shall remain in full effect.
Mr. Chairman? My stamp number is incorrect. It's 40697. I don't know if that makes a difference.
Does that make a difference?
I'll make a note of it on the decision. I'm sorry, what was the number?
40697.
Thank you.
It's a beautiful motion. Do I have a second?
Mr.
Yeah, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we'll put it to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you for your time.
Good.
Shoot.
Good. Okay. Up next, we have case PB 2025-04, Brian Langelier. Owner seeks approval for a site plan review special permit. The proposed project is to construct 2 additions to an existing building that shall increase seating capacity. The application is pursuant to the Code of Town of Harwich, Sections 325-51 and 325-55, Mass General Law, Chapter 40, Sections 9 and 11. The property is located at 986 Route 28, Assessors Map 35-C2-0, and the parcel is approximately .99 acres. The parcel is in in the Commercial Highway 1, CH1 zoning district, and the Massachusetts DEP Zone 2 Drinking Water Protection District.
Good evening.
Evening.
Brian Langelier, owner at 986 Route 28, formerly Castaways Restaurant. The property was purchased by myself back in January of 2025, and we are currently working under a building permit through the town of Harwich for interior renovations, mostly cosmetic. I also have a second building permit, which has been applied for, which is why we're here tonight. And I'm seeking to add a new front porch area to the front of the building, which is on an existing patio, inside the footprint of the existing patio, as reflected in the assessor's record. And looking to increase my seating outside by 20 seats. As well, also, I have a small addition on the back of the building to comply with updating the kitchen interior grease trap. I've talked to Carrie at the Health Department very in-depth and specifically about rearranging the kitchen to meet the new current code. It's not up to code at this point. It was an existing restaurant through 12/31/24. Deb Knoll, the previous owner, ran it to the last day of the year, and we closed, like I said, in early January. So I'm also looking to seek a site plan review for additional space in the rear of the building, which would not be seating capacity at all. It would house a half bathroom for employees. Like I said, an internal grease trap and a new dish line for dishes to code, as well as a mop sink.
Okay. Christine?
Matt, do we have a? Yes. Thank you. Okay, so just so that everyone knows, for reference, this is the town of Harwich. And again, the town of Harwich, the site is 986 Route 28. It's located just east or west of the Chatham line, and you can see, site. So this is the site right here. It's surrounded by another restaurant as well as a couple of other businesses along Route 28. And this is a closer look of the current site and existing conditions. So, and we can also go through, this is another rendering of the site, and this might be a little bit more recent. And this is the site plan, and so again, the applicant is here for a site plan review special permit. The applicant is Brian Langelier, map ID 3530C2, and the zoning district is the Commercial Highway CH1, residential rural as well, in the RR zone, and the Massachusetts DEP Zone 2 Drinking Water Protection District. The lot area is 42,603 square feet, just shy of an acre. The property owner is proposing to construct two additions to the existing structure, formerly Castaways. The front addition will increase the seating with tables to 20, while the second addition to the rear of the building will be used for added restaurant kitchen space and I think for bathroom space now as well.
A half bathroom for employees, correct.
So according to the building department and health records, the seating and building occupancy load was at 68, and the applicant is looking to increase the seating capacity and the building load of, the loading of the building as well. And as of right now, new calculations were submitted that were signed off by the interim building inspector at 76 as the loading capacity for the building. And for the outside, the health department also submitted information relative to the limitations on the septic system. So there's a maximum capacity of 98 seats for the restaurant. So that would include indoor and outdoor seating. And one note on, when we talk about building load, that includes both customers, anyone sitting or standing around the bar, as well as employees of the business. And so the review process for the site plan review is under Massachusetts General Law 48, Section 9, in the Code of Harwich Bylaws, Section 32551 and 32555. The project is, again, located at 986 Route 28, Assessors Map 35, Parcel C2, in the commercial highway and residential, rural residential zoning districts and Mass DEP Zone 2. The project was was noticed in a duly advertised public hearing at the, in the Cape Cod Chronicle on March 6th, as well as March 13th. So we did have several comments from Department Hall staff. The applicants have submitted a revised occupation building load, and additionally, the building department and the zoning compliance officer have been notified that, and have gone out to look at the site, that work has already begun on the site with respect to repaving the parking lot. And so contractors were on site doing work. The health department did review the site plan as well as the deck on the front. They have asked that no portion of the deck cover the trap, the access to the grease traps, tank, and the septic system. And or at least if there has to be some clear access made available so that someone can can easily access the traps. Because right now, if you look at the site plan, if you look closely at the front deck, you'll see that the coverage to the grease trap is right underneath, just under the proposed deck. So the health director has asked us to address that issue, or at least condition that issue. In addition, the applicant has requested 2 waivers for their parking, as well as for the stormwater management and drainage. And because the project has not been before the planning board, I would not recommend to grant the waiver for stormwater management or drainage. It's important that with all applicants that they are able to identify and make sure that any stormwater runoff is maintained onto their property with the appropriate catch basins and drainage. And so that would be my first recommendation. And in terms of the parking, the applicant did submit an estimate of 6 employees at a maximum shift, and so I redid the calculation. So the requirements would be 30 parking spots, and it based on 77 seats, which was part of the seating plan that we did receive. But if there was a maximum of 98 seats, that would go to 42 parking spots required. Given the size of the lot, and there is there has been a history of some overflow parking. I'm less concerned about that, but I would like the applicant to provide a revised site plan to include any overflow parking. And we did make some other recommendations as part of the project. Prior to any issuance of inspection, we would ask that a stormwater management and drainage plan be submitted and then also reviewed and approved by the town's consulting engineer. I have asked that the parking spots be numbered and clearly demonstrated. I didn't see any listing for a handicap parking spot. The dumpster is located on the spot, but I didn't see any, there didn't appear to be any screening surrounding the dumpster, and that's required by Harwich Code. So in terms of road and egress, there wouldn't be any change in terms of the entrance to and exiting the site, and I did not, given the fact that the history of the project has been there for decades, I didn't feel a traffic study was required.
Thank you. Comments from the board?
Yeah, just a couple of questions. The stormwater management plan, obviously, if the parking lot's being redone and reconfigured, what would the timing be on, I'm a little hesitant to think about a waiver when staff's not recommending it, and I'm just wondering what that timing would be to get a storm water management plan designed. And the caveat to that is also, you've indicated that there's some grass area that can be overflow. Is there any reason that that grass area can't be incorporated into the parking lot and just made as part of the parking lot and reduce the need for the waiver?
So the parking lot itself is not being reconfigured at all. I'm using the same exact space and the same parking spots that were there originally.
Right, it's still gonna be
Existing.
repaved, which would still need, some grading checks.
So I'm using Merrill Engineering out of South Shore.
Yeah.
And they have basically, I talked to him, he was in Chatham today. He did a site visit this afternoon. I met with him. And he's run some calcs already, and verbally, from a verbal standpoint, there's no issue over there with water runoff. So, if that satisfies the board, I've talked to Christine in depth about it. We've asked that basically before the final building permit is issued, or the final occupancy certificate is issued, that we basically deal with that, and we have the stormwater calculations to the planning department as part of the actual final sign-off.
It seems a little unusual to me to do we're not doing a waiver. Doesn't that need to be, shouldn't that be approved before we're doing a site
Yes.
plan? So, I don't know that I'm comfortable granting the site plan or voting to approve a site plan and then just making the occupancy contingent on the stormwater runoff.
Right.
It's just my initial thought. I think that's a recommendation that's coming from staff, so, I'm hesitant to go against it.
Well,
I mean, did you have a different understanding from what, I'm looking at the staff report that we've been given, and it looks like she's,
my stance on it is it's existing, and of course I'm replacing the asphalt that was there was failing. It was a
but
liability.
you're also asking for a parking waiver and an increased capacity. So I don't think it's, I don't think it's I don't think there's a reason that we couldn't require that. I mean, it's a waiver. So I'm just, at this point, I'm not comfortable voting for a waiver when staff has recommended not granting it, so.
I think as an alternative, working with the applicant, if they can submit a stormwater drainage plan, stormwater management and drainage plan, and to ensure that it's being installed correctly prior to you resurfacing the parking lot and prior to the final inspection from the building department. I'm willing to work with the applicant on a condition that the plans have to be approved and reviewed by our town engineer, and then have the revised site plan evaluated by town hall staff or by the town planner.
So I guess my question through Mr. Chair to you again is, if we voted a continuance to to our second meeting in April, do we think that could be accomplished and he could have the plan that shows the compliance and not to have to grant the waiver?
Well, the problem with the continuance is that,
Scheduling
you know,
on that, I would
it's,
have to.
it's an open for business issue is what it comes down to. So,
It's April, I get it.
well, I
but-
mean, so we get, basically, we get into April, we get the 20-day appeal period, and then it's, you know, we're into May. I'm looking to open in May, you know, in the middle of May.
But April 8th is only 2 weeks, Brian.
But I'm just, so if I can get going on the deck out front, it's gonna take a month to build the deck and the porch.
I
I'd
understand.
like to be approved for that tonight and I've been working with the town very diligently on all aspects of everything.
I'll be honest with you, I'm not comfortable granting a special permit or a piecemeal. I mean, I think we do it together, we do a
Well,
wonderful shot.
so I mean, and Christine can speak for herself, that I talked to Christine about it, and she recommended asking for the waiver.
No.
I
that's
understand.
not cor- You have to ask for the waiver because you didn't supply the stormwater
She was pointing out
management.
your deficiency in your
drainage
application.
So, you know,
And I said you could ask for it. I said my recommendation, given the site, would be, I wouldn't recommend a waiver to the board. We are trying to work with the applicant, and, but it's up to the board to make that decision.
well, again, we'll go back, and Christine and I had this conversation yesterday, and I don't want to make a mountain out of a molehill here, but, you know, at the end of the day, if I can find the language. So this is the issue that I have with the whole situation, is that so in 32555, site plan approval states, Section C, subsection 2, expansion or reconfiguration of an existing parking lot or driveways is what triggers the site plan review. And I'm not expanding or reconfiguring, I'm putting back exactly what was there.
But you paved without a permit, from what it looks like, you didn't get a permit to do the
First base.
parking lot before you started the work, right?
Well,
And I mean, it can be an oversight, I'm not characterizing that as horrible, but when you come before us before, we've always,
I agree,
I don't
listen,
recall
I
us denying
agree with you, I agree with you, I work with a local contractor, John Canto, I asked him if we needed permits over there, he said, I never pulled a permit in Harwich ever. We went in, he came and dug up the asphalt that was there, we had a gravel base, it was compacted again, and, you know, it's exactly what was there was going back in.
I can understand that and appreciate that, but I still think a 2-week continuance.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand your timing, but the application came in March. So if the plan that I'm looking at is stamped when? The 12th? I mean, the end of February, the beginning of March, you're on the right, it's just come in, it's timely, and it's.
So from a construction,
A 2-week continuance isn't unusual. We've had 4-month continuances.
well, from a
so-
well, to get open for the season, right? I mean, I'm trying to make the season here, right?
Right, but when did you buy the property?
January.
So there was February, there was March. So I understand you're trying to do everything timely, so are we. We're just trying to do it right. And I'm hesitant to do it piecemeal. It's not how we've operated since I've been on the board.
So Mary, are you suggesting that he submit a site plan for review?
I'm suggesting our planner has said that because of the parking lot, there should be a plan that comes in to review and make sure that the grading is the same.
So,
And because right now, she's not recommending the waiver for the stormwater. And if we don't waive the stormwater, then he's gotta go before the Board of Selectmen to get a stormwater. No?
He's under the 1 acre
Okay.
disturbance.
Okay.
so he
Oh,
doesn't
that's right.
trigger a
Okay.
So
stormwater
it's still
permit.
it would still have to be submitted to us.
It still has to be submitted to us as per site plan review. We do require stormwater management and drainage plans as part of site plan review, and this project triggers two reasons for site plan review. Reconfiguration of the parking lot as well as the addition of a commercial space.
But he just said he's not reconfiguring the parking lot.
He is reconfiguring the parking lot. When you change the asphalt and remove the asphalt up to an existing parking lot, that triggers site plan review, and it also given the history of the project, there was no drainage or stormwater management that we could find within town records. So that was the other reason why we're strongly recommending that there be a stormwater management and drainage plan submitted as part of this project.
So I have one other question. The deck, so is the deck too close to a septic, or is it over the grease trap? Is it something that has to be reconfigured there?
So the deck comes up, I've redesigned the deck, so the permit that's at the building department right now
Yeah,
shows it shows the deck out 8 foot 4 3/4.
okay.
And this one,
6 inches over the actual, the clean out for the grease trap. I'm going to keep the permit as is for the 8 foot 4 3/4 and bring the deck back into 7 foot 6. So that the grease trap isn't an issue at all.
Okay.
That will be
So it has a
resolved.
clear,
that'll be.
Yes, you can access it from the front of the deck.
Okay.
Correct.
So I'm assuming you would need the plan revised just to show the
Well, that'll be
actual as-built versus.
That'll be on the as-built, correct.
Right,
Right, yeah,
right.
that's what she was, Carrie asked for it on the as-built, I
Yeah,
believe.
I just think, I think it's speaking for a 2-week continuance. I'll let my colleagues like weigh in, but
Again,
to me-
on the record, and this gentleman over here, I'm not reconfiguring the parking lot, and I'm not adding anything. I'm putting exactly down what was there, based on liability purposes. The parking lot was failing, the insurance company came out, they made it a point to say, if you don't replace the parking lot, we're gonna cancel you.
So I
So that-
respect your opinion, but we're sitting here with town staff who's reviewed it with others and is our staff professional, and she's telling us.
Absolutely.
And she's telling us that removing the asphalt
Triggered it.
falls under the definition of reconfiguring the parking lot.
I disagree with you. It's not a reconfiguration.
And you can, but we have staff and we have town council that's gonna tell us otherwise. So that's where we're coming from. You have to understand that a little bit. So a 2-week continuance is the shortest we can probably do. It's April 8th. So we're,
So it's from a time
It's not
frame,
next Tuesday,
from a
it's
time
Tuesday
frame
following.
standpoint, so it's 2 more weeks, then it's a 20-day appeal period.
Yep.
We're out 35 days, we're into May, and so I might as well just, this isn't gonna happen then, this year. Not gonna happen.
all due respect, I
I'm
think
just letting you know.
that as a. I
Over
think
a drainage,
you've
over an
been
existing
before us.
parking lot.
Brian, you've been before us before.
I know I
And
have.
we've worked with you. I don't ever recall us denying anything that you've come before
I
us with.
agree with you.
And to say that you would not continue or open because of a 2-week continuance, I have a hard time believing that, Brian.
So we've already got approval from the town engineer, okay, to basically go in and put the binder down.
That's not exactly what happened. You have done site work without the proper permits from the town, correct?
Well, I've taken up the
If your
existing parking
contractor-
lot.
Regardless of whether your contractor told you
Right.
he'd never pulled one or not, the building department is telling us that you needed one, and staff is recommending that,
It's not building, it's
and staff
planning.
is recommending that a plan get done. So I'm gonna be honest, I'm not gonna vote against against our professional staff and vote a waiver when a waiver isn't recommended.
Well, let me ask you this.
And you need 5 votes tonight?
Let me ask you this.
5 votes tonight, so.
Let me ask you this. If I have the binder put in, which is planned on Friday, right, and I don't pave the parking lot until the drainage calculations come in,
Right.
I can always cut, and the binder should sit for a month or 2 anyways to settle, okay, so you don't have bottles and everything else and failure, right, just for settlement purposes. If I don't pave the parking lot, okay, until the drainage calculations are in and I have a revised site plan, would you make a consideration tonight to allow the deck out front based on those circumstances when I come back to you?
It's a change to a site plan.
yeah.
It's gotta be part of the site plan, it's gotta be conditioned, it's gotta go through the normal process. So, I understand if the building department will allow you to do the paving,
It's not the building department, it's planning.
Christine's not issuing the permit for you to
There's n-
lay bituminous.
There's no permit for paving through the building department that I know of.
The alteration of the parking plan, you met with us on February 6th You mentioned that you were going to redo the parking lot, and as part of the community development team, I was very clear that that also triggered site plan review as part of the planning board process. You haven't secured a site plan review special permit. And you've ripped up since that time, you've ripped up the parking lot. So my recommendation to the board is that the binder coat was added because we noticed that you would continue to do work, and there was an excessive rain event, and I did contact VHB, and they said if they've already done the grading, putting the binder coat would help to alleviate any erosion of the subbase. And they felt that that was okay, that was reasonable, on the condition that you were to talk with your engineer to look at the drainage and the stormwater, because there could be a possibility that once you do those plans, you may have to rip up the binder coat. And
Which-
that was
which I
also
can do.
explained to you
Which I can do.
when we met on March 14th.
Touching the binder isn't a big deal. I'm not worried about it. I can cut up anywhere. I can put a drain in if I have to somewhere. That's not an issue. That's why it's just a binder coat.
So here's the problem. I think reality is, if you ask us to take a vote tonight, you need 5 votes for a special permit.
It's not a
You've
special
got-
permit.
It's a site plan review special permit. That's
It
how,
is a special permit.
that's how zoning in Harwich is drafted. It's a site plan review special permit, very similar to when you did the food truck. You
Site
did
plan
the
review.
parking lot
Right.
down the street from there to do a site plan for the review special permit for the food truck. That's what it is. And it needs 5 votes. You've got 5 here, and I'm going to be frank, I'm not comfortable voting against my town planner tonight. So I don't think you want us to call for a vote tonight. Where if you take the 2 weeks, you should be able to come up with the plan to satisfy the town
Come
planner
back.
and satisfy at least this board member where I'd be voting in favor. I want to see you succeed. I want to see a successful restaurant there. I'd be thrilled to see it. I just think if the application had come in 2 weeks earlier, I'd be telling you the same thing. No, we would have been postponing till this meeting instead of next meeting. That's all I'm saying. I can't in good conscience, with a town professional telling us this is a problem, I can't in good conscience vote the full special permit. I can't vote a partial, I can't just say, yes, you can do the deck, because it doesn't work that way. It's all part of the same.
And just so you know, we've never done piecemeal, like you said, like doing this part
I've
and
been on
then.
the board
go-
since
yeah.
2016. I don't recall us ever doing it, and Alan's been on longer than I have,
Yeah.
so. You know, like I said, I was thrilled to hear you were gonna put in another restaurant, and I can't in good conscience vote for it, right? The way it is before us tonight.
We've kind of bounced around a bunch of topics. Christine, could you give him a list of what would satisfy your objections specifically, and then give him the 2 weeks? Obviously, we know that it's not going to pass tonight, but give him, with the 2 weeks, it might not be that much work. I mean, drilling a couple holes and sticking some liners in and some gravel, might not amount to much, but if he knows specifically a list of things that would allay your objections, and then I assume everybody else's, then I think it would be helpful for him to send him away with that list, and then when he knows he's checked off everything on the list, he comes back, he gets what he wants, and everybody's happy.
In the staff report, we did identify some of the outstanding issues, and then for my recommendation, to work with the applicant and really be up to the board, that we did give them a list of potential conditions that need to be met relative to the health director and the stormwater management and drainage plan.
So just a question.
Yes.
Since this is where we're leaning, is this 2 weeks really going to stop you from opening this year?
It will not allow me to build a deck out front in the front porch area, the enclosed front porch. So let me just, so there's there was so I have a building permit, okay, currently, and I'll read it to you. This is the current building permit that's open right now. And it specifically states, replace existing deck and handicap ramp
Right.
to existing location, okay? So I have a open building permit where I can go tomorrow and build myself the existing deck that was there.
Because you're building like for like.
Correct.
So you're not
Just-
changing the site plan.
Just as like at the parking lot, it's like for like.
So like for like, there's a provision in the zoning bylaw that removing the pavement triggers the site plan review.
I'm just trying to
So
get to
that-
a
so that's-
solution for us.
But the fact that you're asking for more on the deck is why you'd need the special permit, right? Because you don't want to build like for like, you want to expand it, correct?
Well, so, you know, at the end of the day, I mean, like I said previously, on the assessor's database, I mean, I'm paying taxes on a 40 by 9-foot swath across the front of the building that was an existing patio. So I'm looking to approve upon that location with my deck.
Right.
So I could go there tomorrow and start building a patio with no site plan review at all. It's existing.
And if that's what you're, if that's
Well,
what you're
I may have to
doing,
do that, just for time
if
purposes.
that's not a change on a site plan,
I'm already paying taxes on it.
Is there, Christine, is there any other way to go around this? Because it's like, we couldn't do a special meeting somewhere because we can't advertise it enough, right? We need the 2
We
weeks.
can continue it and keep the public hearing open as
Yeah.
one
I'm
option.
just
Yeah.
trying, I'm
And
just trying to,
secondly, I think,
trying to address the 2 weeks. You know, is there any way
I
on the
couldn't
planning
do
board
next,
side?
I couldn't do next Tuesday.
So-
Okay.
And the 5 of us are the only ones that have
I know.
been here today, so.
is this something that, in my staff notes, we were really clear about certain conditions if this were to be approved tonight, but there were clear stipulations that a revised site plan would need to be
You're,
submitted. But
that's
is
the
that,
split, that's the
that's the
split
issue that
we've never
Mary
done.
raised,
I just-
and I appreciate that. I'm a little bit hesitant on that too, but.
I'm happy, I just don't see us doing a partial, because
Yep.
how do you approve part and not the other? Because once you approve it,
It's it.
then the next change is another application and another, you can't close the public hearing and vote on a decision. You can't approve a part of a condition without
Correct.
closing the public hearing. So
So we can't solve this, basically.
I don't think you can solve
I
it.
don't think
When
we
I think
can.
a 2-week continuance, I don't think they're high.
Well, the solvability would be to waive the actual drainage calculations, based on the fact it's been
And
there.
staff is not as, and.
Well, I
and the
disagree with you.
shipment
Mary, I
sales-
disagree with you because Christine, and I'm sorry, Christine, but you asked me you said to me when we talked in the beginning, to ask for a waiver for drainage calculations, and that's what I did.
If I may characterize, I believe what town staff said is your application would require a request for waiver because you did not include one in your application. That doesn't mean that she was recommending it or not recommending it. It's still up to this board to decide on a waiver. And that's what she said earlier, and I don't think you quite understood what she was saying.
I know exactly what
But
you said.
we would say that, any town planner would say that, any town council reviewing it would say the same
I think it's
thing.
ridiculous that this is all draining onto my property, goes into a hole. If you look at the topography of the whole place over there, it all drops down 20 feet into a hole, and nothing's draining off the site. I talked to the engineer today, he did a site visit, like I said. It's not gonna be a problem. He hasn't had a chance to write up the actual
And this shouldn't be
calculations.
contentious, Brian.
I'm not being, it's a timeframe, and it
We're
comes down to
trying to
money.
figure out
We're
how
trying
to-
we're trying to make it work for you. And the shortest timeframe, if I can't do next Tuesday, you need 5 people. If I could do next Tuesday, I'd say, sure,
What,
we're
a month
trying.
now? It's a month now?
No,
No,
it's
it's 2
No,
weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
So if
So
we could
next
make,
Tuesday.
April
We
8th.
were saying if we
which
could
would
move
be
a
the
special
31st
meeting.
of March.
Gotcha, special meeting, I gotcha. Okay,
So I would do a special meeting if I could, I can't.
got you,
And they're only,
Okay.
we have,
So we're
And it would be
talking-
us 5,
gotcha.
it
because,
has,
our-
because we heard it, yeah.
right.
So, I mean, I'm trying to make it as short as possible. My original would have said, make it the second week so that we knew staff had enough time, but I'm sure everybody's willing to work with you.
Yeah.
It's just I'm not comfortable doing it right now, and I can't, doesn't feel like there's any legal way for us to do what you request. I understand that you want to get started on the deck, but if you're expanding the deck, and I understand why you want to expand the deck,
We want you to have a
if you
deck.
want to
Yeah.
expand the deck,
Yeah.
then there has to be a modification on the site plan special permit that exists there now. So that's wherein lies the rub. And I don't know if does the patio, if there's a deck there now, the patios, if the deck is over the patio, I don't know if you could reinstate the 90-foot patio, and that would be a change. I don't know what that would implicate for you on an application. I'm just saying if the deck has to get expanded, it's all gotta get done together. Can't just be piecemeal, and
And then we
I'm
can-
not gonna go against my town planner and vote on a waiver that she's not recommending. And, you know, it's unfortunate if your contractor was mistaken in not
I'm the contractor.
pulling the permit, right? But, no,
So-
I'm saying if the site contractor told you you didn't have to pull one and he was mistaken, you know, that's unfortunate, but these things happen.
I think the positive.
And that's what triggered your site plan on that parking lot,
Yeah.
is the fact that that pavement got pulled up.
Yeah.
So,
That's what triggers it,
So that's the
according to our,
hang-up, is the parking lot being done before this meeting? Right, and that's what we're saying?
what we're saying is, one of the two items that
that triggered it.
your need to do site plan review was the fact that the pavement got removed and the fact that the
The deck.
deck is getting enlarged. Those are the two things that triggered it.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you could open,
Oh, I've actually,
Under regular
actually, to go on the record again, I actually went down to the DPW the other day and talked to someone down there, and they disagreed with based on what this
I mean,
32555 code says. Expansion or reconfiguration, I'm not expanding or reconfiguring anything at all. I'm putting back what was there. So, I'd ask for a waiver,
W
I'd ask
doesn't
for a
give us
waiver
a
tonight.
definition.
right.
Yeah.
Our town planner is the one
So-
that's reviewing the zoning board.
So-
We're the one that issues the permit. What's in front of us is saying no. So I would recommend at this time that we continue this public hearing to a date certain, be it April 8th, 2025, no earlier than 6:30 PM.
So move.
That's my motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, we have, hold on. Case PB 2025-05, 19 Walker Woods, John and Deborah Duarte, owners, authorized Dylan Hoyt of Shoreline Pools, agent, to seek a special permit to build a pool as an accessory to an allowed principal use within the Six Ponds Special District. The application is pursuant to the Code of Town of Harwich, Section 325-51 and 325-94A4, and Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 9. The property is located at 19 Walker Woods Drive, Assessors Map 94, Parcel A5-4, and the parcel is approximately 2.5 acres. The parcel is in the Residential Rural RR District and the Six Ponds Special District. Mr. Hoyt, floor is yours.
Alrighty. Good evening, everybody. Thank you. I will try and keep this light. We are proposing a 18 by 36 in-ground swimming pool on a site with a dwelling currently under construction. Based on previous approvals by the board, we believe that the current waivers requested for this project can be approved based on the proposed scope of work. Any questions? Certainly welcome.
Christine?
Okay. As stated, the applicant, on behalf of the owners, John and Deborah Duarte, Dylan Hoyt from Shoreline Pools Incorporated, is proposing to install a underground pool within the Six Ponds District. The location is 19 Walker Woods Drive, map parcel ID 94A5-4. The zoning district is the residential rural,
right,
as well as in the Six Pond Special District. The development type is an accessory swimming pool. And the applicable laws and regulations, Mass General Law, Chapter 48, Section 9, in the Code of the Town of Harwich, Sections 325-94A4, for a swimming pool in the Six Ponds District requires a special permit via the Planning Board, and 325-51 special permit. The application and materials for the special permit to build a pool as an accessory use to the principal use were submitted to the town clerk on February 26th. The public hearing notice was advertised in the Cape Cod Chronicle on March 6th and 13th. Copies of the application were sent to the following departments for comments, and the only comment that we had received was from the Conservation Commission agent, who had requested that the trees in the landscaping plan would have to come back to the Conservation Commission because they are broaching the line of trees that were required by the Concom. So if we can just place a condition to that effect in the written decision. I am recommending a waiver for the requests of the full-size 24 by 36 plans, the marked area subject to Wetland Protection Act on the plan, detailed calculations for the required parking, the deed plan and reference for the abutters, and notations indicating any variance or zoning relief for the property, lighting on the plan, as well as the easements, and the building plans pertaining to the house and the pool plans have been provided instead. So the site plans are also going through the building department, and this is fairly common in terms of what's being requested. It's just that this residential property happens to be located in the Six Ponds District, and as part of that, one of the conditions is a pool is requires a special permit via the planning board, given the location in the Six Ponds.
Mary?
Just a question, the Conservation Commission condition, I'm just trying to figure out what it is. Is it that the Conservation Commission has to approve his landscape plan after?
It wasn't a landscape plan, but I think part of the property abuts, and I apologize, I don't have the notes in front of me, but the Conservation Commission did review part of this project, and they had requested that certain plantings be done. And so the comment was if they can come back to the Conservation Commission and agree to replant the trees elsewhere on the property, but a plan with the tree plantings needs to be submitted and reviewed by the conservation agent.
So
this isn't complete?
So if,
What is?
This plan isn't complete then without that, correct?
Yes, the special permit is just pertains to the pool. It's not a site plan review.
Okay.
So I want to make
Okay, thank
that
you.
clear. This is just a special
It
permit
just-
for the pool.
Okay.
so if I tweaked number 3 on the conditions and said that, are you doing work under an order of conditions, or no, it was just a matter that the conservation reviewed it? Is it a full order of conditions?
So the site itself
Yeah.
has an order of conditions
Oh.
that was done for the construction
Of
of
the house.
the home
Yeah.
that's currently under construction. Blue Flax is currently working on the conservation mitigation planting, which is beyond the pool area.
Okay,
So all of that scope of work, per the order of conditions, is being completed prior to the commencement of
okay. So
the
is
pool
it,
construction.
Are you trying to like condition it?
yeah, I'm trying to wrap my head around, so the condition just isn't intuitive to me as I'm reading it, because it says like the proposed one is Conservation Commission condition the Conservation Commission condition regarding tree location must be approved by the conservation agent prior to final building inspection.
If you could state your name.
Chris Billick, Billick Builders. So I currently have the permit out for this property. So what happened with conservation was, we requested, Blue Flags requested that, I think it was 6 or 7 trees come down within the 100. They agreed to it with the condition that we're planting 6 additional trees outside of the 100,
Someplace.
someplace.
And they get to review where you're going to put them and
That's
pass
right.
approval on
That's
it.
right.
Okay,
Okay, so
It has
maybe,
nothing to do with the pool.
right.
understood completely.
Yeah, yeah.
So if I say in that condition, that conservation agent shall review and approve the location of planting for 6 trees
Prior to,
prior to a final building inspection?
Mhm.
Okay.
Do I read this correctly? It's a 7-bedroom house?
That's correct.
And
two,
what's the square footage of the lot?
Yeah.
2.52 acres? Is that?
Oh, okay.
109,600.
All right, I see it here. Thanks.
That's,
What's the square foot of the house?
it's good.
109,600 square feet,
That's the square foot of the house?
No,
the
no,
lot.
that's the lot.
the lot.
It's approximately 6,500 square feet.
6,500?
Is the porch, it looks like there's a breezeway between the garage and the house, and then there's a porch that butts up against the pool deck. Is that porch covered in the building permit?
Breezeway. So
Well, I'm looking at the garage, and then it looks like there's some kind of structure between the garage
it's
and the house.
conditioned space.
It's what?
It's conditioned space.
Okay, okay.
It's livable space.
All right, and then the porch that is right beside it, is
We're
that?
only here for the pool.
Yeah.
I know, but the pool abuts the porch. So if the
We're only
pool,
here for the pool.
It-
Just the pool.
I understand that. Would you
answer
like to
your
say it
question,
again?
It's covered,
Okay,
non-conditioned, covered porch.
okay. And the pool deck, is that part of what we're here for, the pool? Or is it the pool exclusive of the deck that I see there?
It's the pool because it's because it's a pool in the Six Ponds District, and nothing about the aesthetics around the pool or the deck or the,
Right.
Just a permit for the pool.
it's a permit for the pool because it's in the Six Ponds
Six
District.
ponds.
Okay.
Because otherwise we wouldn't see a pool.
Okay. Entertain a motion.
I don't have any other questions, so I would, if nobody else does, I would move that we vote to close the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I would move that the board vote to adopt the following findings of fact. 1, the applicant is Dylan Hoyt, Shoreline Pools, Inc. 2, the subject property is 19 Walker Woods Drive, map 94, parcel A5-4. 3, the property is located in the residential rural zoning district in Six Ponds Special District. 4, the application materials for special permit to build a pool as an accessory to an allowed principal use within the Six Ponds Special District were submitted on February 25th, 2025. The applicant is, 5, the applicant is seeking a use special permit in accordance with the requirements of the Code of the Town of Harwich,
I think these are mine.
Section 325-94A4. There are no specific findings or performance standards required for an accessory swimming pool within the Six Ponds zoning district. 6, the planning board has held a public hearing today on March 25th, 2025. 7, in addition, the board finds that A, the use developed will not adversely affect the neighborhood. B, the specific site is an appropriate location for such a use, structure, or condition. C, there will be no nuisance or serious hazard to vehicles or pedestrians. And D, adequate and appropriate facilities will be provided for the proper operation of the proposed use. This includes the provision of appropriate sewage treatment facilities which provide for denitrification, when the permit granting authority deems such facilities necessary for the protection of drinking water supply wells, ponds, or saltwater embayments.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Put it to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous.
So I would move that we adopt the following waivers. One, that four full-size 24 by 36-inch plans are not required to be provided. Proposed condition plan is a proper scale at 18 by 24. Two, that marked areas subject to Wetland Protection Act are not required on the plan because it's not applicable. Three, that the detailed calculations for required parking are not applicable. Four, that the names, deed, and plan references for all direct butters are not necessary. Five, that notations indicating any variances or zoning relief granted for the property are not required. Six, that the lighting on the plan content is not required. Seven, that easements on the plan content are not required. And eight, that building plans pertaining to the house are not required, as pool plans will be provided instead.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Put it to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then I would move finally that the planning board vote to approve with conditions case number PB 2025-05, Shoreline Pools, Inc., 19 Walker Woods Drive, for approval of a special permit to build a pool as an accessory to an allowed principal use within the Six Pond Special District pursuant to section 325-51 and 325-594 of the codes of the town of Harwich for the property located at 19 Walker Woods Drive, map 94, parcel A5-4, in the residential rural zoning district and Six Pond Special District. The decision is based on the aforementioned findings of fact and the fact that the application meets the necessary requirements and criteria for approval pursuant to the code of the town of Harwich, and with the following conditions imposed relative to the special permit review. One, recommending condition prior to draining water from the pool for closure in the off-season, the owner shall not chlorinate or superchlorinate the pool for 3 days to lower the concentration of chlorine in the water. Two, auto cover is in compliance with the Massachusetts Building Code. Three, that the conservation agent shall review and approve the location for planting 6 trees as stated under the current order of conditions for the property shall be done prior to the final building inspection. 4, the decision shall run with the property. Conditions of approval shall be binding on future owners. 5, the special permit shall not take effect until a copy of the decision bearing the certification of the town clerk that 20 days have elapsed after the filing of the decision, and either that no appeal has been filed or that an appeal has been filed within such time period, is recorded in the registry of deeds and indexed under the name of the property owner of record and the parcel address. 6, the special permit shall lapse within 2 years, which shall not include the time required to pursue or await the determination of an appeal referred to in General Law, Chapter 48, Section 17, from the grant thereof, if a substantial use thereof has not sooner commenced except for good cause, or in the case of a permit of construction, if construction has not begun by such date except for good cause. 7, changes to the site not authorized under this decision will require further planning board review and modification to this decision. 8, the applicant shall conform to the inspection certification and as-built plan requirements outlined pursuant to the code of the town of Harwich.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, I'll put it to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous? No? I think we're good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Have a good evening, everybody.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thanks.
Up next, case 2024-27, Witchmere Harbor Real Estate through its agent. They request to withdraw without prejudice its application for site plan review special permit and use special permit to raise the existing hotel, 2 buildings at 34,860 square feet, and replaced with a new hotel, one building, 82,660 square feet, reconfigure and improve entrances to make other site upgrades. The property is located at 23 Snow Inn Road, Assessor's Map 8-P2-14 and 15. So there, yes.
Can I just ask a procedural question, just so
Sure.
that because I'm just trying to figure it out. Christine, is my understanding that they filed with us, and because it triggered DRI, you forwarded it to the commission
Correct. I
for
did that.
commission's review, and then commission would get back to us and either approve with conditions, or deny? And they are,
Withdrawing
they're
from the
withdrawing that application.
From us as
From
well
us.
as the Cape Cod Commission DRI process.
They're withdrawing from that too?
Correct.
So
Yes.
they have not had a final decision on that yet, correct?
That's why they're
That's why they're withdrawing
withdrawing.
before
without
the March
prejudice.
27th scheduled final hearing before the full commission.
Correct.
So I just wanted to get the procedural procedure straight in my head, so
Okay.
thank you for that.
It's a, yeah,
Right.
so,
Withdraw before.
withdraw
Withdraw
before,
before.
yes.
Yeah, okay.
So do we have to,
Do we have to take, we may have to just accept.
it's just
I
more,
think we can
we
vote,
accept,
we can vote to accept it without prejudice, and
Okay.
I don't see any reason why we wouldn't.
do we have to make a motion?
So I'll move that we accept the request to withdraw without prejudice for application 2024-27, Witchmere Harbor Real Estate, through its agent, Andrew Singer.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then case PB 2025-06, John McElway, PLS, Cape and Island Engineering Incorporated, agent for the Hall Family Trust and Queen Anne Acres LLC, and Catherine Goff. The applicant has requested an extension with a continuance to April 8th, 2025. Have a motion to continue?
So I would move that we continue to April 8th, 2025, no earlier than 6:30 PM.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And up next is the accessory dwelling unit zoning bylaw changes overview by staff.
Yes.
Haven't had a chance to look at it.
Then I'll be very quick. Enclosed are the revised accessory dwelling unit amendments that we are putting before town meeting. We are holding a public hearing on April 8th, and I will do a more formal overview as to reasons why we're having to make these amendments to be in compliance with the state's legislation under the Affordable Homes Act, which was adopted in August 2024 and signed by the governor. And the regulations came into effect February 2nd, 2025. And even though the town of Harwich has allowed accessory dwelling units as of right since 2023, up to 1,000 square feet, the state has legislated that protected use accessory dwelling units can be half of the principal dwelling or 900 square feet or less. And that is part of Chapter 40A, Section 3, as a protected use status, such as education, agricultural uses, or religious uses. And to be in compliance with that, we are updating our definition section, our use table of use section, and are following the parameters outlined under the state's guidelines. There is also, I know that there was some suggestion of allowing a second accessory apartment by accessory dwelling by special permit, and because of the language is very wonky, we have provided language under Section 325-14T, and we are proposing to add number 5, which is an accessory apartment, and we are defining that as a self-contained livable space with kitchen, bathroom facilities, and a bedroom. And the dwelling unit will be allowed from 901 square feet to 1,000 square feet by special permit through the planning board. If just to at least allow a second option for those who would like a larger accessory apartment is what we're calling it.
That gets us our 1,000 square feet.
Yeah, so can you clarify for me? Because I thought the state protected use is 50% of the square footage
Or,
or 900 square feet, whichever is the lesser, correct?
Correct. And this is allowing a special permit, so it's not allowed by right.
So it's not by right, it's,
It's by special permit, and I did.
and it's only greater than the maximum.
Correct.
It's for that
It's greater
100
than the
square feet.
900.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, I guess I would have thought it would have been from 50% of the square footage, existing square footage, 51% of the existing square footage, up to 1,000 square feet. But it can't be, right?
Can't
It's
be?
only got to be that
let's go to
limited.
900.
It can only be 901 by the state.
So if somebody only has room to build 600, they can't. They've got to either do
They have to do
examples,
900?
simple math. You have 1,000 square feet on your house. You could build 500 square feet. You can't go to the 900 because it's whatever's
Because
lower.
it's more than, yeah.
So you can do 500,
Yes. Whichever is less.
whichever's less. If I wanted 750, because I didn't have room for 902, I'd have to either build a 901 to 1,000 or build the 500. I couldn't build the 750.
Correct.
It's creating a gap in there somewhere.
So we're just trying to give an option in Harwich for
Yeah, I mean, it's better than
901
nothing.
to
It just-
1,000, so you can get, so if your house is only
Yeah.
500, you can get 900, right, by the special permit.
If you
If you have a 2,000 square foot house,
right, then you could do 900.
900.
You had a
900.
2,000 square foot, you could only do 50% or 900. 900 becomes the lower of the two, right?
right?
So you could do 900
But you can apply for a special permit and get 1,000.
to get 1,000.
Yes?
But if you had 1,200 square feet, you could do 600 only. You couldn't do 900, so you could only
So
do
there's-
600 under the protected, and then you could only do 901 to 1,000. You couldn't do 750 because it doesn't fit into either of the two
So
definitions.
just add on to your house and then get up to, get up to the 900.
Crazy.
And there's no way we can fix that, because
We
it's
can't
just,
fix
that
it.
is
That's
just,
what I'm wondering. I
that's
just,
We can't
that's
fix
just
it's
stupid.
creating a
It's-
gap, and
it's-
that's the one thing that concerned me with the
yeah.
language.
It was stupid, but we're giving Harwich an opportunity because we're
I know,
saying,
but we still have
I'd rather
time.
do
Can we
I'd rather
that?
do the second alternative
Yeah, yeah.
than no second alternative.
okay,
I just wish we could,
we can't fix the myth.
I wish we could wordsmith it so that we could do 50% of the existing house up to 1,000 by special permit.
Oh, that gives everything.
Then it would give everything by special permit. So then
Yeah,
if
I
somebody
hear ya.
wanted to build 750, they
700.
could, as opposed to only
They have
giving
more
1,000.
flexibility to
More
build what they really
flexibility.
want to build.
Yeah.
Is there a way to do that?
I don't know.
I
I'm
completely
sorry to
agree.
ask.
We
I
can,
completely
if, we can review the language more at the public hearing, and, if we want to alter it, we can still alter it, because it didn't quite make the warrant article.
Yeah.
Because the warrant,
Mm-hmm.
I believe, is closing next Monday,
Oh.
so, I'm sorry?
It could close next Monday, it's about the printing of it, right? Yeah.
Well, it might be something we could.
We
Yeah.
can, so I think my understanding during the public hearing process, you can modify some of
You
the
can make some
language. We still
changes.
have time to do that.
It won't be obvious to everyone except us about this
Right,
math.
exactly.
That's
It's the
thing.
math, it's the math thing that's a little,
So
and
at
it's just the way,
at-
it's the way the protected use was drafted, right?
So at the
Yes.
public hearing, that math should be brought up, kind of. Otherwise, no one's gonna find it besides us.
I
It
mean,
doesn't have to be brought up, but
Yeah.
But if we're
I
trying
mean,
to create a
as a member
greater,
of the planning board, I'm happy to send you an email and ask
to bring it up.
if it can go to, if council could wordsmith it differently. And maybe council would say you can't wordsmith it differently, and I
Let's
don't know
ask.
the answer to the question.
Let's
Okay.
ask and try.
So,
If you can send me an
I will
email,
send you an email.
that would
Thank
be
you.
great. And
Yeah.
then,
Because otherwise the gap is just silly.
The gap feels silly, and that was the only.
It's
that
more
was the only-
barrier, it's more.
It's another
It
barrier.
creates a barrier that we tried to fix.
Right.
And I
Right.
get the protected use, is what we
We get it,
referred
we
to
get
in
it.
the solar special
By
permit, because it was schools, and so, and I get the protected use. It's fantastic, it's great, like, it gives more people the ability to do it, but
But if they,
that gap kills me.
yeah, the gap is crazy. Let's see
So-
if we can do that.
If my house was 2,000,
Yep.
I
Under the protected, you could
could do
do,
900.
you could do 50%
Or,
of your square footage, existing square footage, or 900, whichever
Okay.
is less.
So
So if you're
900.
2,000,
you can only do 9.
you can only do 900.
And then if I want to put
As a
in,
matter of right.
yeah,
As a matter
if I want to do an apartment, it's a special permit.
You can get 1,000.
You'd have to come get.
Then you'd have to come do a special permit, and then you could do, the way it's drafted is you
Right.
could do 901 to 1,000,
You couldn't do 700
but
or-
you couldn't do 700. So for
Right,
example, my house
right.
is 1,200 square feet.
Right.
I could do 600, I couldn't do 900, I could do 600, and what if I only had room for 750? I couldn't go to 900. I couldn't,
Then you couldn't
do
do
it,
it at
that'd be-
all.
Right.
I'd
Exactly.
be tripped out on one and I'd be tripped out on the other.
Right, and that's what we're trying to close that.
Yeah,
Agreed.
okay.
Make sense?
Yeah,
Agreed.
yeah.
Go Mary, go
Sorry.
Mary.
Is there any, like, the other thing, I know, like, remember, like, it'd say, like, cooking facilities, like,
They're now
does-
letting you have a kitchen.
right, like, it has to have a stove, right?
yes.
Well, it's a full
Full,
dwelling unit.
full dwelling
The
unit,
dwelling
okay,
unit has to have
okay,
a bathroom, has to have a bedroom, has to have a
Okay.
kitchen facility.
okay,
And
all right.
stove.
So we're above
And that's
the
why when,
stove now. I
that's
mean,
why when,
Okay.
if you remember, I think you were on the board when the house on Schoolhouse Road next to the chamber came and
Yes.
they put bedrooms above the pool, above
Yes,
the garage.
yes,
It didn't have a kitchen because it wasn't an
because
accessory.
it wasn't, yeah, okay.
Couldn't have a
It was
kitchen.
more like a,
Right.
yeah, okay, thank you. Anything?
No, not me.
No, You good? And then, thank you, LCP update.
Yes,
Oh, so we missed Austin Road, didn't we?
Oh, sorry, Austin Road,
Wants to continue.
it's just rescheduled to April 8th.
So I'll make a motion that we continue One Austin Road property use with Attorney Michael Ford to April 8th, 2025, no earlier than 6:30 PM. I'm not sure that it really needs to be done, but do it anyway.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
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 yeah, if I can, just to clarify, Attorney Ford had requested to come and talk with the board regarding the ongoing activity at 1 Austin Road.
Okay.
He's representing abutters.
Gotcha.
So he just wanted to bring a couple of matters to your attention, as well as to the history of the project in previous conditions and going forward relative to the use of the property. So he just wanted
So
to,
it's a
5 minutes to
It's a
talk with the
pre-meeting.
board.
To check in.
To check, yes.
Is this the lot where they're putting all the construction material for?
Correct, for the town sewering project, and where the town, we granted a
Right.
a special permit, site plan review waiver
Yep.
for that.
Yeah, well, it's all the pipes and stuff are there.
Got it.
And for the local comprehensive plan, we are deferring to fall town meeting for town meeting approval, so that we can spend a little more time on qualifying, continuing to draft some of the goals and strategies, but also to make sure that we have the opportunity to do a little more consensus building, not only with the community, but also respective town boards and committees.
That means we will have a fall town meeting then.
That's what our hope is, yes.
Got it.
And even though it's not required, the intent of the local comprehensive plan was always presented that it would be presented at a town meeting for town meeting approval. It does require planning board approval formally, so we would have to hold a public hearing and make a motion for an approval of the local comprehensive plan.
Okay. Does anyone have anything else?
I don't think so.
I entertain a motion for
I move that we adjourn this evening.
adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.